Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Movies That Move We. So, today, this is one we wanted to do since October, and, kept putting it off. And so deciding to do this today turns out to be a good thing, because it's the day after his birthday. So
no, it's the day of his birthday.
Okay, see, you're messing up the whole recording already. This is how I need you to flow with me sometimes. Yes,
so
people,
what they think that
hold on, because we're not re-recording this. Everyone, we record the day before. Okay, she keeps spilling the sauce. I can't tell you how many times we've had to re-record things because she's like, no, it's today, not tomorrow. Okay, so I want you to pretend with us that we're not recording this on Saturday and it's Sunday when you're probably seeing it. Yesterday was Pharrell's birthday, April 5th. And today is April 6th. Okay, now we got that out the way. Happy birthday, Pharrell. We are talking about Piece by Piece, his Lego documentary. And you know what? Watching it originally, I was like, okay, what is this gonna be like? Is this gonna be, a documentary, or is this going to be, what do you call it? Like a reenactment, dramatic reenactment?
Yeah, or like, is it just like a cartoon with like his, like just like a story that he wants to tell or whatever?
Right. I mean, it's his version of what happened with his life, but it didn't, I don't know, it didn't feel much less like a documentary.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
This is something that will get kids to watch a documentary just because of the colors. And apparently that's kind of, it's fitting for him. I couldn't see this as, human beings sitting around and talking about this.
It wouldn't have been as fun.
Yeah, seeing, musician after musician, even though we enjoy hearing from them, but I think this gave it a different life altogether. And it especially made more sense when he describes how he creates music. There are some people who have this, and I didn't jot down what it's called, but there are some people who can see sound. And I heard of it before. So when he said that that's how he kind of interprets music. If he really likes a song, he's seeing the colors here. Like, not out loud, but here. And it made sense that he would choose this format to do his documentary. It speaks to his creative side. Off the rip, I learned, I think, a lot about him. I learned a lot about him. Like, I didn't know that he was discovered by him and Chad, who made up the Neptunes. I didn't realize that they were discovered by Teddy Riley.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Teddy Riley was like big, a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm showing my age because, Teddy Riley was on the radio when I was a kid. But anyway, that just is the start of how long he's been in the music business, which kind of surprised me because I didn't realize that's how far his reach was.
Honestly, I don't even be thinking that he's that old. Like,
For
he
real.
doesn't look...
People say he's a vampire.
Yeah, he literally looks like he's like just turning like in 30 something. Yeah, like he doesn't look that old at all.
See, it's that cream that he was selling at one point. Yeah, but okay, you talk for a minute because I said a lot.
I mean, because actually when the movie first came out, I was actually at the movie seeing another movie, and it was like one of the commercials, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I want to go see this, because like, I mean, Lego Batman, I knew like a Lego Pharrell documentary was gonna be hilarious. So I just, and I really enjoyed how like he got all these different artists together, like Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, Justin Timberlake, Busta Rhymes. Like, I just really like how he got them all together to kind of be a part of it, to kind of tell their stories. Because yeah, it's one thing to do a documentary and you're telling your own story and like your experiences, but it's different when you kind of get other people involved and they're kind of talking about their perspective of you and like how they came to know you and what stage of life you were in. I think that's what I enjoyed too. It's like each person was kind of able to talk about his different stages becoming the artist that he is now and producer that he is now. So, and I'm still like, you know, I'm in shock because there's so many songs that I didn't realize that he was a part of, because obviously we hear his voice in certain songs and we know, okay, that's Pharrell on the track or whatever, but it's like there's certain stuff that he's not even putting his voice on. He's just in the background.
He's just making the beat and saying, do what you will with it. And like, if, let's see, Work It Out, which I think was on, what movie that was it? She in, the one with the Foxy.
Oh, you're Gold Member.
Gold Member. Yeah, that was in the Austin Powers soundtrack. I didn't know he did that.
I didn't know he did that either.
Compared to what you recognize as his signature sound, and we were talking about this, it's like his sound is like, okay, there's a bounce, and then it'll kind of drop to a flat note and it come back and bounce. I guess it exists in this song, but it doesn't sound like his other songs. Like,
it's like, he does a good job with whatever the artist's vibe is. It's like he meshes with that pretty well, because it's like sometimes you know when it's somebody's song right off the bat, but like with him, it's like you can tell certain songs that he might have either wrote for or produced or whatever. It's like he did it with that artist's vision in mind, but he just kind of put his touch on it. But it wasn't like, oh, okay, this is a Pharrell song.
Yeah, Holler Back Girl was another one that I was like, he did that?
You didn't? Well, okay, I kind of figured he did that. But like, but that's just because, I don't know.
Look, back in the day, in my day, when, you know, you had albums and cassette tapes, you took the time and you read the back of the album cover, you read the insert, you read all the lyrics and memorized them on the cassette tape, and that doesn't really exist anymore. It's like,
I mean, I grew up in the CD era, so that happened for me. Like, whenever I would get a CD, I would open the pamphlet, I would see who the artist is, who they featured with, who the producers were, who wrote the song, who the songwriter was, lyrics.
When's the last time you did that?
I do it all the time because I have Apple Music, so like I'm a music head. I really like creating playlists and things like that. So when you go on Apple Music, you can actually hit on the artist's if you're in their album or whatever, you can hit on certain songs and it'll have like a little information thing. And when you hit that, it'll show you like the recording studio, what sound system they're using or whatever, the year, all the writers, all the producers, all that will be listed. Sometimes depending on how new it is, that'd be annoying. It's like sometimes when albums first drop, it's like they don't show all that information, like probably for like the first couple days. But after about a week, you can see all that information, and I still look at it. But because I grew up in that time period where we got CDs and paid attention to all that stuff, I think in part because, again, you know, I came up in a time when music was really good. You know, the stuff she listens to is... Anyway, I'm reaching back
for the things I'm familiar with for the most
It's just sounding
part.
like hateration.
Call it what you want. Hateration is one of my generation's words. Stay away from it. But anyway, I'm not digging that up. I'm not going, oh, I like this. Who produced it? I'm listening to it. Again, Apple Music, you can hit, and most of the songs have the lyrics scrolling. So I'll look at that, and I might catch a glimpse of who wrote it at the bottom. But usually I'm looking at, okay, well, what are they singing about?
Yeah, because sometimes like I'll hear like an artist, like for example, like when I listened to an Ariana Grande album, I think it was Sweetener was the album. I heard Beyonce all up and through the album. Even though Beyonce was not featured on the album, I heard her sound on the album. And with Pharrell, it's kind of like he can give off that same vibe, but I've noticed going through his catalog, there's certain songs where it's like I would have never known that was him that like produced this or wrote the song or whatever. I would have never thought that.
What was the song that he wanted to give to Prince?
Oh, I wish I wrote that down.
Yeah, it's a pretty popular song.
It was a solo song that he did by himself.
Right. But
and
Prince
Jay-Z featured on it too. Yeah.
And he talked about that. He was like, usually, I'm standing beside Jay-Z on a track. This time he was standing beside me. I was up front. He was my hype man. So I don't know. I like the way this was done. It was kind of a bit of a dramatic retelling. There were some humorous spots in it. I think the parts that felt light to me was because they had his little Lego image sitting in the director's chair and talking to an interviewer. So it's like when they would come back to him and the interviewer was the way he asked questions. He was like, oh, and you really thought that was good? Kind of thing. That's the part where it got back to feeling a little bit real, but it's comical because you're looking at a Lego set act everything out. And so this I enjoy. I would recommend. It's family friendly. There's one part, if you haven't seen it, where he's talking about, or no, Snoop is talking about working with him, and they have PG spray. I'll let you watch, but they kept things clean. Yeah, you know, there was minimal cussing, and if there was any cussing, they beeped it out or they put a little emoji up to cover it. The other thing that kind of surprised me is when he talked about falling off, how he was doing all of these other projects. You know, I'm designing the skateboard. I had a body lotion. I had, an alcohol line. Just all these other things that he was doing, and the people around him were like, dude, yeah, we can't keep up with you. We're gonna go work on some other stuff. And it's like everyone he was working with fell off. That was about the time the Neptunes broke up. And he said he was kind of drifting. And I said to Zenny, I was like, dang, I don't remember him being absent from music. Maybe it was only for a shorter period of time where he had things already in the works that covered that time. I don't know, but it didn't feel like
they mentioned that he was kind of also like around the same time he was working with a lot of like shady executive producer people that were having him do projects here and there, but it wasn't anything as meaningful as like his previous projects or even like his present day projects. It was just like, it was just kind of like them trying to pump as much music out as possible. It wasn't about, the actual artistry of it. Yeah.
And the passion behind it. So, yeah, but he's back. He's been back technically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was just a brilliant way to. I don't think anyone else could do this.
Mm-mm.
Well, I have one person in mind who could.
I know
if they decided to tell their story.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say that.
Really?
I mean, I could see him doing it. I was gonna say I could see Snoop Dogg doing the same thing.
That's number 2 on my. I'm not gonna tell y'all who number 1 is because I have a feeling at some point he's gonna feature in something like this. But and I'll let you guys guess. Put in the comments who you think I might be talking about as far as people who are already in the documentary. But I think it was a brilliant way for him to express. It made sense.
Mm-hmm.
It made so much sense for him to do it that way. So let's see, where are we this week? We will be back next week. Try to make sure. No, it's not Easter next week. We'll be back.
It's the week after, I think. Next
week. Excuse me. And then after that we are. We're gonna chill for the rest of the month. So the 13th of April is gonna be our last show for the month of April. I got that right. Okay, and then we will be back with more for you. But in the meantime, go back, check out some of the other things that we've posted in the last several weeks. We have some, I think, pretty good movies on the list. If you haven't seen this, check it out, Piece by Piece. It's on Peacock. And Peacock has a lot of good shows right now.
I've noticed they have a really good selection of like family stuff, like family movies, like stuff your kids can watch. Like, and I'm talking about good movies, like mostly like DreamWorks and stuff like that, but they have really good stuff on there.
Yeah, and their series are pretty good too. So that's all we have for today. Follow us on Facebook at Movies That Move We. On YouTube, our channel is called Movies That Move We. I post on the Spill app also, so check me out over there. You can find me under Nikay Writes, NIKEWRITES. And yeah, like, share, follow, tell a friend, tell a family member. And until then,
bye.